If you're an immigration lawyer wondering how AI actually applies to your firm in 2026, this video will cut through the noise. My name's Ian Almacy, founder of Immigration Finder. I work directly with immigration law firms implementing AI in ways that can save time and increase signed cases. Most firms either overcomplicate AI or ignore it completely, and both approaches leave growth on the table. In this video, I'll walk you through practical AI use cases that are actually working for immigration law firms right now. So AI for immigration lawyers, this is what actually works in 2026. So we want to give you some practical tools to actually, implement this into your firm. So one thing, like AI is a very broad, big topic. It's not like something that you have to do all at once or anything. But think of AI just like a whole industry. I mean, obviously no one would come to you and say, hey, I need every single immigration case. So in your firm, think about AI from a very specific, tailored standpoint. As far as, hey, I need to do something specific in my law firm. And this presentation is only going to scratch the surface on what you can do. If you want help with it, feel free to go to immigrationfinder.com/schedule. So one thing, AI client acquisition, capture, qualify, convert. One thing about AI is it's always there, it's consistent, it does make mistakes. That's not the thing, but every system's going to make mistakes, every person's going to make mistakes. But one thing, AI is consistent. It's 24/7 availability. You do smart qualification. And the thing that AI can do is it can interpret information too. Like before, you could get information, but it was more like kind of a if this, then that format. AI can somewhat review it. Won't always do it perfectly, but that's kind of the thing. And it's secure and compliant. So once again, a lot of these tools are very encrypted, some of them which you can implement with procedures that don't handle confidential data. So that's something. But a few things to get set up first, intelligent chatbots and virtual assistants. So think anywhere where you would chat and communicate with someone, it can be instant. And that's very much something people want now. People are starting to expect this. It's not something weird or taboo to have an AI that responds to people. And people are impatient too. That's another thing. That's a big thing. I mean, even the average person's attention span is going down. That's a big thing. But you can deploy a lot of conversational AI. We build this out a lot. Even today as we're recording this, I did a presentation for someone and gave an offer to automate their TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp all in one platform. And realistically, it's about $50, $100 of management ongoing after we set it up. So I think AI-powered CRM integrations. So tools like Lawmatics and Lead Navigator are great. We sell a tool called Immigration Finder CRM. It's really great. It can lead score for you, get information on the calls, help kind of triage. Depending on your lead volume and also the amount of staff you have to handle your leads, that's a big thing you can put into there. But also things you can do with AI is you can trigger a next action. So let's say you have an AI chat and you say, hey, if someone is detained, I really want to get notified immediately. That's something an AI can say, okay, we can add a tag detained to this contact and immediately do some type of notification of the firm or connect a phone call, whatever it happens to be. Or let's say you want to have, someone if, it's like a high value case for you, like we work with a firm that wants to do a lot of national interest waivers. So if someone comes through the chat, they have a national interest waiver inquiry. That's something that we would want to triage and then call. Maybe some firms, they will do a free consult for one type of case and not another. That's something you can do in there. Other smart communication routings, utilize sentiments analysis, voicemail tags, those kinds of things. You can actually do a lead scoring, so a score from 1 to 5, 1 to 10, something like that. And the score can be based on different things. One, we usually gauge it based on how responsive they are and how their case itself, so the type of inquiry. So proven results, firms using AI intakes to a 40% increase in conversion rate by responding to leads within the first 5 minutes. And that's across the board. And we've seen a lot of studies, for example. I mean, I've seen stats where if you respond within 5 minutes, you're 7 times more likely to 21 times more likely. I've seen tons of studies on this, but it's pretty much, that's the highest and lowest I've seen, which either way is very high. So that's another thing. So AI marketing and content. So one thing, AI can just crank stuff out. Much like this YouTube video, if you're looking for YouTube content ideas, what you can do is ask Claude, ChatGPT. Claude tends to be for content ideas. You can do SEO and content engine, automate blogs, guides, tailored to search intent at scale, post for you depending on how in-depth you want to go. And there are so many of these small tools that are popping up, so it's so fast to create these. A lot of developers and people like me are putting together tools that make it really easy to do this, very hands-off. So you don't have to be the architect of this too to use AI. So local and social visibility. So Google My Business optimization, review management, capture that. One thing, it's really important. You can use AI to actually really enhance your online performance. You could just put it in research mode and say, hey, audit my online performance. I mean, one thing we realized recently with AI was that a client's past address was listed in an important place online. And we needed to fix that because obviously, like, if they're getting mail or clients or for whatever reason it needed to be solved. Another thing is voice predictive ads. So optimized for conversational queries, AI-powered bid editing strategies. So one thing though, before, it's like, say you want to run meta ads and to WhatsApp, and you can have WhatsApp messaging happen, you'd be relying on a real person, nothing wrong with that. But the thing is though, now with AI, you can create instant responsiveness, make it a bit more engaging, and you can also notify someone if it's a viable inquiry, which not everyone is. Windows, immigration is very much a window shopping industry, so it's something there. But also core technologies, you can automate a lot of content generation. Other things you can do is if you just want to record yourself talking, you could put that into AI and have create 5 blog posts about the topics I just spoke about, that kind of thing. I mean, even when you're driving in your car, you could turn on talk mode and just talk to it. And then when you get to where you're going, say, hey, generate this. If you do a training internally about a certain visa topic, you could have AI make a slides presentation for that and posts about it, blogs about the topic, and write it out. And AI will get to know your tonality if you actually speak to it, because there are talk modes here. So local search optimization. So you can have AI monitor and optimize Google business profiles for local pack rankings. That pretty much means in Google Maps it's going to show. So that's a big thing. While automatically drafting compliant responses for client reviews. So that's kind of the thing. You can have AI monitor a lot of this stuff. And the nice thing about AI is you can ask AI how to do this. It's not like you're out. Like, AI is your friend there. It'll help you set it up. And then AI for predictive ad targeting. You can actually review advertising data and shift budgets for everything. We're doing this right now, having AI review Meta ads, Google ads, see what's spending, what isn't. And even for our own advertising, maybe you found us from one of our Al9 ads. We're doing that now to see what actually works and where. So proven results, firm report 3x content output and higher local rank than the first 90 days of implementation. That's a big thing. I mean, much like right now, these slides were actually made with AI. So we put the topics in, we couldn't just say, hey, make slides that look good. We had to give it some content, but then it follows a consistent flow. I'm not relying on a designer to necessarily do this for me. I mean, I do have a team member that's helping, but the thing is, I know that it's going to be consistent, because that's one thing. If you want to have a brand, you do want consistency online, and AI can do that for you. So one, AI in operations and efficiency. So do more faster. AI is just an accelerant. It's a tool. There's not when starting off, the first phase of implementation is kind of just task delegation. After that, it's mostly structural changes. So I think task delegation would be like, hey, I don't want to write blog posts. I don't want to write social media posts. I need, these videos captioned, or I recorded a YouTube video like this that's 15 minutes long, and I want to chop it into smaller sections. That's kind of where it starts. How do we use AI to actually answer the phone for us? Or how do we use AI to, text with all of our leads that come in? That's more of a structural component. So one thing, document automation. So you can instantly draft cover letters, support letters, affidavits from intake data. And there are a lot of tools for this that are, the AI is secured within a platform, so it's still confidential. And so that's that. If you just Google AI immigration tools, there are a lot of them. Feel free to email ian@immigrationfinder.com. I can definitely recommend a few if you want. USCIS compliance monitoring. So one thing is USCIS can actually check things. So you could actually create an AI that checks with USCIS every day and then emails you any updates that come out. One thing we've recently set up is an AI that has a receipt number on there, and then every day it'll repost an update. And anytime there's a new update, it'll notify the client and the team member, because one of our clients, for example, they were getting interview notices way later than they were posted online, but it wasn't really feasible for them to go through and check 300 receipt numbers or 250 receipt numbers, however many they had, every single day to check to see if there's a response. And one, immigration case research. So instant analysis of visa categories, precedent decisions, complex policy memos, that kind of thing. But also for a lot of people doing business immigration, a lot of the research you're doing on some of these people with extraordinary ability, for national interest waivers, EB1, O1, that type of category, you're going to need to do public research anyways. You're checking their LinkedIn, any of their citations, different places are referenced online. So it is public information anyways. So that's something you can use. So efficiency tools, so automate document generation. So auto-populate USCIS and Department of Labor forms directly from client intake data to determine repetitive data entry. Reduce pretty much what this is saying is the actual data entry errors you can drastically reduce. And also, if you're a larger firm and you have a fairly high software cost, you can build a tool that can service you, like filling out immigration forms. You might not even be using all the features of tools you're using now, you could build one and then maintain it for a much lower cost and use AI to maintain it too. So real-time compliance reports, so systematic audit trails, so think certain things like expiring statuses, RFEs, deadlines, that kind of thing. This one's a bit more sensitive as far as it goes, making that there. But a lot of this doesn't have to be crazy. It says it can do it. But a lot of this stuff, what you can do is you can just put this into a spreadsheet and have an AI that checks this every single day and then notifies you in a chat channel. And you can do this all from Microsoft Office, for example. So really simple. So just to put this into practical terms, when we build AI for people, a lot of what's actually getting done is we just have spreadsheets they keep updated that make sure that they update the receipt numbers. They update responses on whether or not the priority date's current. They update whether or not they have an interview coming up, like that kind of thing. And AI assistant legal research. So that's that. So one thing, a lot of great tools are out there. VisaLaw.ai is a huge library of visa information that helps with that. But that's the thing. For a lot of this information, it is publicly available. It is making portions of the declaration that relate to not really the specific person, but just kind of the conditions of everything. And then overall, then the other thing too is research on people of extraordinary ability. If you need to research the public profile of a company, that's something you can do there. So a big thing. But overall, when you reclaim the attorney time, firms report up to 60% faster review cycle, reclaiming valuable hours of high-level strategy and client care. So the biggest thing is you can really just supercharge this. But the goal of this, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, is to reduce the stress. And so what you can do is this is very much a supplementary tool. It's not really going to replace a person in the company. It's just going to get it to where things can go happen faster, because you still need the person to reference the information, make sure the exhibits are correct and whatever information that ChatGPT cited is in there. And you can upload information for it to research too. Let's say you have like all the links of a profile, you can put it in there. There are tons of different tools for this also, so you can put that on there. But anyways, if you need help with this, email Ian at immigrationfinder.com or go to immigrationfinder.com/schedule. So real AI tools immigration law firms are using in 2026. So one, Imagility is one. It's a tool, I know the owners of that, they do that. Drafty AI is another one. They generate briefs for, mostly waivers, but I do know they do other things too, RFE responses. VisaLaw.ai is very much a research engine. I know a lot of these tools do things I'm not even familiar with. They're very powerful. Then DocketWise, modern practice management, you can set this up. And now with AI, you can customize a lot more of these tools also, because a lot of them have open APIs. If you want to hire a developer, you can actually build a lot of these tools to work better for you. Then also, if all you need is a tool for form filling and data entry, you can actually build that for yourself, essentially, because at the end of the day, all the immigration forms are just PDFs. And so they're just fillable PDFs from the government. It's something to keep in mind. But one thing, core capabilities. So something that we often set up for firms is OCR, which pretty much means you're turning text onto like a scanned paper into documentation, and you can pull the data out of there. So think, like one firm we worked with, we just recently set this up where they batch scan all the receipt notices that come in a day. Then what the AI is doing is it's reading all the receipt numbers, getting the information on there, populating it into a spreadsheet, and then separating out all the PDFs, and then emailing or putting it in a folder, which is then notifying whoever is managing that in the firm. But that's a very simple thing. Instead of taking that information, typing it, and then what the assistant does, it's the same person. They scans the mail, she gets those emails with the PDFs, and then she just checks the spreadsheet to make sure it's accurate. That way, a V doesn't turn into a W on accident. So, because you got to double check it. But there you go. Then instead of having to go manually type out all the strings of letters and numbers, it makes a lot of sense. So like generative legal drafting, so you can actually fine tune these. So when you're using tools like Claude, ChatGPT, you can actually create one GPT and train it to write things for you. So you could actually upload a lot of your past work, everything, depending on how much you want to upload. So you can put that in there, but you can also train it to do that. And you can also train AI to write in different sections. So you wouldn't train it to write like a whole 80-page brief, for example. You could train it to write a portion of it or write part of the template and then use the rest of it for other things. But that way you can write exhibit by exhibit, those things, have it write cover letters, those kinds of things. One thing, real-time regulatory sync. So software automatically updates with the latest visa bulletins, fee schedules, policy manuals to ensure every filing is compliant. And that's one thing, when you're programming AI for yourself, always ask it to reference .gov websites, because once again, AI will just go out and research the internet and find information, which is great, but sometimes it might be finding it from Reddit, personal websites, blogs, LinkedIn. So you can tell it, hey, only find information from .gov websites, or only find information from X. But overall, the tech stack ROI, so integrated adoption of these tools cuts administrative overhead by about 70%. So turning hours of paperwork into minutes of review. So that's a big thing. You can kind of make sure it's to a minimum standard before you see it. Because the big issue we see in firms is the amount of time it takes to review cases for attorneys. So if you're ready to scale your immigration law firm, or maybe you're just, you're kind of happy with the income you're making, you just want to get it more manageable, because I'm sure you're seeing a lot of these case studies, you're going to the AILA conferences, seeing people online, seeing these lawyers starting coaching programs, thinking, okay, there's no way they're working more than I do because I already work 60 hours a week, or maybe you don't, but you're like, hey, I make this amount of money, how are they making 10x what I do or 3x what I do, and they're not. All right, so anyways, feel free to go to immigrationfinder.com/schedule. You can also email ian@immigrationfinder.com to reach out. Then also, if you want more content like this, feel free to subscribe, click below. We post videos regularly. Thank you.